Good morning, traders. Looks like we're going to have another day full of some data that came out. Looks like PPI did come in. We don't even need to go look at it. It's just, it came in at 0.1. We're seeing some upside with that overall move at this moment. So that's something to pay attention to. Looks like upside is an option. Remember, testing that breakdown area is going to be very, very important. And that's why I kind of wanted to put out that video this morning, just stating how, remember, just to kind of remind us where the goal really is for us to get rejected is here, right? So we will look for that test of this area. We'll pay attention. Once we do climb up there, if we're able to get all the way to this daily expected move, if you don't have those on your charts, get them on there for the SPY and the Qs here today. Because if we do head up towards that area and then we fail, a lot of people might think, hey, oh, it's very likely to still go make that divergence, which it can. But for the most part, you would say, hey, look at this. It is very positive at this moment. So if it does curl down and curl back up, hey, this might just be some form of consolidation to actually head higher. It's not even guaranteed to have to curl down there. We could see something crazy and just end up, hey, maybe we run into this for a second, consolidate by it, and go up to that weekly expected move. This area up here is where we're paying attention for that left head and right shoulder to form, possibly heading to the upside. So we'll pay attention to that as things open up this morning. We're still seeing volatility drop off one more time on this hourly chart. I don't know why I have it on an hourly chart. I meant to have it on a 2-hour chart this whole time. So actually, let's go back over to the SPY just to show you guys, because it's just starting to go positive. So the reason I was talking about it actually remaining positive is because if this can stay up in this area, this MACD is going to get further up here, and then it's less likely to see that actually fully rotate down. Okay, but it's still okay. You can still pay attention to it. Are we going to see some reversal signals from here? Well, right now we don't even have a 30-minute that's gotten overbought. So this is kind of just the beginning of something, if you really want to think of it that way. And if you can break above this level, I think you would be directly heading towards the weekly expected move. If we can pile up in that area, you're going to get some more good news this week. Well, then you're by the weekly expected move. You can start to see something crazy. So we'll pay attention to that. But one thing I wanted to look at for now was going to be also, we can look at the Qs real quick, seeing that upward move even more so. So you're seeing a lot of tech benefit from that lower PPI. We're seeing that start to get up towards the daily expected move for the Qs. So this is the breakdown area. This is where we were looking for that test. So now we have to see from here, are we going to fail? Are we going to be able to hold up at higher levels, right? And then curl back up? Are we going to break through? Are we going to reverse completely back down? That's what we have to pay attention to. There's a lot of scenarios, trading like water. It doesn't mean we can't take trades. We just have to know about all of these scenarios in case we see one playing out in front of us. All right. Apple, this one is testing the breakdown area. Okay, so if you wanted to maybe think of a stock that's kind of saying, kind of leading the market, it's actually going to be something like Apple, because look at it, it's already testing the area. The SPY and the Qs are starting to about to test it, but Apple's really doing it. So I think Apple can tell us a lot today. We'll see if this is able to see a strong move or if it's going to fail. Right now it is heading towards its weekly expected move. You can get those over on Patreon, cup of coffee a month, and you can get all the weekly expected moves. It really will help out your trading. Tesla finally seeing a little bit of positivity down here. One thing to note on the shorter time frame, we're really piled up down here. We talked about this in the YouTube video I put out this morning. Wanted to make sure to give you guys a little bit of analysis for you early birds out there at 6:30 a.m. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We need to break. We need to break above these key levels. I would even come down on this. That way the closing bars is mainly what I'm paying attention to here, but we need to close above that level. Then we can get up towards this zone. And from there, we want to pay attention to our daily charts starting to roll up. We got to pay attention to daily charts, especially when it comes to things like Nvidia. Nvidia looks like it could curl up that MACD today. So if you're looking for that positivity to come in, it looks like right now you're getting you already got some of the swing trade signal, only one piece of it right here. Now you're looking for the other two pieces, but it looks like that RSI could confirm today. Maybe we get that retest and then we actually head higher. The overall structure I'm looking for to head higher is going to be a little head and shoulders in this area. Notice that the 2-hour is going positive. As that goes more positive, a little less likely to go down and make the stronger base. If we were going to break through this channel, that's a big deal. And then we could pop up to this zone, curl back down for the retest, and then get that left head and right shoulder. I think that's a very good scenario for it to play out. Alrighty, looking forward. A couple other things. I mean, yes, we can look through over at like Meta and things like that. This thing just keeps going up and up and up. Eventually, it will have to experience some kind of pullback. But you see on the shorter time frames, this is almost like squeeze behavior because you're just pulling back with time. You're getting close to the center line. You're no longer overbought in the 30 minutes, so you can make that next move higher. Watch out for a little divergence here if we need to experience a bigger pullback over the next couple of, I would say, a day or so. And that's really all I'm looking at for Meta, but this was a solid little swing trade to the upside. If you played it correctly, you had about 3 days of positivity, 4 days, really, I guess the 4th day of positivity here. If you're able to find that swing trade signal right here, this is where the course, the swing trading course down in the description will tell you how to invest. And boom, that can be a good scenario for you. Let me see what's going on with this, by the way. I have to check on something just real quick, guys. Give me a brief moment here. Brief moment here to go check on something. I just want to make sure that the description and everything's right. Okay, yes, we have the swing trading course in there, and we do have the technical course in there. I'm just making sure both courses are up for you guys, because I know some people were interested in it, and some people might be popping in to ask some questions about those courses. But overall, this is where you would learn, hey, okay, this is the overall good signal that we can see more positivity. Hey, guess what? We saw more positivity, so that's awesome. You're still above this area. If you needed a pullback, I'd look for, well, these moving averages. They're all piled up in one area. That can be an extreme level of support if we get some kind of pullback on the shorter time frames. Speaking of dailies that need to cross up, AMC needs to cross up on this daily MACD. That would be a huge good sign. It needs to curl up, get above that 200 and close. Look how close it is to happening. So that is something to pay attention to. GME, same thing, right? It looks like it's so close to happening. You already kind of have one swing trade signal, but we like to have all three, or at least I like to have all three, at least two. So if you end some positivity here, you can cross up that MACD, get this RSI above the center line, then we might be in business. Let's flip back over to the SPY while we open up here. Looking at a 30-minute chart today, seeing that pop up, the pullback with time. Now we have to see, are we going to get prolonged upside and actually see an overbought move? We haven't really gotten an overbought move in this whole move up. We have not gotten overbought one time with the MACD or the RSI. I would just say the RSI more so, right? You're paying attention to overbought on the RSI. But if we get up to this area, you might start to get a little bit overbought, and that's where you want to pay attention. So we'll look at the PCC from this level as well. Here in about 15 minutes, we'll get some of that data. So if we get to here and people are overzealous to the upside, that might mean, hey, I might want to take some off the table for a second, see that move down, and then see the swing trade back up. That's at least what I'm kind of thinking as today progresses. I'm going to pay attention to those type of things. So how are you guys doing today? Everyone excited to have some more stock market analysis all morning long? Let's go. What up, Robert, Frankie? Welcome, Bernie, Jay, Domier, Vital, BK, Lizard. Good morning. What stock will squeeze today? Serve has earnings today. Rumble and SE stock up earnings. PPI, any news? PPI came in at 0.1. It was expected at 0.2 or 0.1, so it is lower than the previous because that was 0.2. But for the most part, you would say, hey, that could be a good sign from the market, right? Most of what we need to do with data, I'm just going to say this real quick because I said it kind of in the YouTube video I made this morning. Most of the data that we're looking at here, we really need it to show us some good things. We really need it to show us some good price action. The reaction to the price action is going to matter more than what the actual data is, because we're in an environment where technically people should like unemployment, but once that gets too high, it starts to become bad. So at a point now, we're hitting a point where it could be bad news could actually be bad news for the market. Good news could actually be bad news for the market, good news. So we really want to pay attention to the reaction, not just some kind of, hey, this number was good, so let me YOLO everything. No, we want to watch the price action here, and I think that's very important to understand. Now, one thing we've been watching is the Dow. The Dow able to hold up, starting to curl up on this MACD, a little bit more of a pullback for the Dow. I really like that. Now we're going to cross up. Maybe we can get overbought on the Dow and we actually see upside. So Q is heading up towards the breakdown area. This is the first real test of the morning, so we'll pay attention to that. One thing that seems to be heading to the upside is Apple, as it does just break through that resistance point, right? We tested it, we backed off, then we springboard through it. So if we can hold through it, that would be awesome. I'm looking for 223 to 225 for Apple. It looks like we're kind of beelining for that area. Nvidia seeing some great positivity here. Crossed over on the MACD, crossed right back up. Is this an overall thing that I would be chasing into? No, I'm still waiting with my couple little contracts, still just playing pretty much with house money at this point. I've already taken enough profit to make money in the trade. Now I'm just chilling, right? Chilling, waiting, seeing if something crazy can happen. Awesome, I can make some good money. But I still think this has a good shot to actually head up a little bit higher, maybe towards a 117 or something like that. And then we see that pullback and people are convinced down here that we're going to crash again or something like that. But which we have to be open to. It's very valid to be open to those type of things. As we see, volatility on the 30-minute is starting to do some funky stuff here, right? We're starting to curl down a little bit. But if we make a divergence here, that's where we'll pay attention, right? We didn't necessarily have a divergence at the same time at these levels. You had it on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time. So we're paying attention if we actually see a divergence point here, maybe a double bottom or something like that. That would be something to pay attention to. That would mean the 2 hour is more going to curl up and remain curled up for a little bit of time. That could happen and the 2 hour could not cross down. Now, if the 2 hour does cross back down, might be a good sign that we're squeezing. You're seeing the dollar drop off dramatically as the stock market heads higher. So this is not by any means looking like a rigged move. It looks like a time where we were talking about, is the dollar wrong or is the market wrong right now? Not really trying, like I wasn't really saying like, hey, this is an overall rigged move. It could have been, it's just not a drastic enough move. And the dollar could be wrong here, curled down. And then that's the signal we're kind of looking for. So if this does hold, I would assume that we're going to see some kind of squeeze higher for the time being. Now, what I want to pay attention to with the dollar is, do we make a 4 hour divergence? If we make a 4 hour divergence like this and we start curling back up, I'm going to be a little bit worried for the market heading higher. So I want to see that PCC level come out this morning and see if we're getting any kind of move that could be seen as a rigged move to the upside or something like that, or people getting over leveraged to the call side because of this data. That is going to help us out, especially as we go up towards the daily expected move. And if this can project all the way, if people keep trying to short it, this can just keep going all the way up to that weekly. So exhibition, let's make some money today. I'm down. Who's down to make a little moolah? GME. GME I need to check on for a brief moment. Starting to fail the break, the curl up to the upside. Interesting behavior there. Very interesting. Qs, are they making it there? I think you're just a few points off, but you are testing the breakdown area as of right now. Yes. Oh, let's look at some stuff. Someone's saying that Nike's popping off. Let's go look at Nike real quick. If these things can load. There we go. Nike, let's go check that out. Seems like we have Nike popping off to the upside. Did we get a hint of this? Not really. You actually had divergence points all along this, but this is something to pay attention to, okay? First of all, you had pretty much the point where you want to create that cup and handle way up here. You didn't really make it there. Was that enough to really head higher, or is this move overexcited and we might actually see that start to drop off? So we may need to go retest this area because we didn't really get a full, I would say, test of it. We're just kind of breaking through it, which is a bullish sign. We need to probably pull back, look at some daily charts here and just see, okay, this thing has curled up. We had some 2 hour divergences down here that we've mentioned on this, and boom, curls up, gets above all those moving averages, big move to the upside. So if you look at the 2 hour here, you're going to see all of these lows. What do we notice about these lows? Well, throughout this whole time, they kind of held that divergence. They kind of held this flat divergence on these ones. You had big divergence across this. Now we're seeing that move to the upside. So if we're going to see a continued move, that would mean daily momentum might take over. Maybe we see a good reaction here. And it looks like that good reaction is happening right now. You bought puts yesterday for DJ Tizzle. DJT heading to the downside. So even though there's a bunch of 2-hour divergences here, really struggling to see that positivity. I know that they did report their stuff and it was not good, right? They're not making profit at all right now. So I think that's something to pay attention to. Just tells me, hey, that play's probably not going to work out at this point. Good thing it was on the fund account. All right, SPY, Q's still heading up towards that area. IWM, what are you doing? Trying to curl up here, so actually IWM catching a little bit of a bounce. Starbucks is up. Let's go look at Starbucks for a brief moment. Whoa, okay, yeah, Starbucks is up. I would definitely say that Starbucks is up, okay? Now, one thing about Starbucks that we were paying attention to, the daily divergence, and this is how daily divergences play out a lot of the time, okay? You'll see these big daily divergences, and then eventually you'll see that daily momentum be able to take over once liquidity is built. Okay, build liquidity, boom to the upside. So even if you were managing this, it would be like get in, get out, get in, get out, get back in, maybe get out, and then get back in on this last bar. This last bar is telling you, hey, there could be an upside move, and then boom. So now this is something that I probably would not have traded just because of the choppiness of it, looking at the shorter time frames and things like that. But overall, this is great to get back above the 200. You might need to retest some things before actually heading higher, but you're in an area where you can hold up, right? I'd say this chunk right in here, if you can retest that and be able to make that next move higher, that would be a good sign for Starbucks. Am I chasing this move by any means? No, if anything, I'm looking for some kind of 30-minute to kind of like go sideways or pull down a little bit and then curl up. But great move so far from Starbucks there. Tesla now finally seeing that upside move. See if it can break through this level. That would be a good thing there. Starbucks stole Chipotle's CEO this week. That's why. Wow. They're robbing some burritos over there. Nvidia breaks out. Hopefully it's not a fake out. Now this is overbought. Let's see. PCC hasn't come out yet. We'll have to pay attention to that in a moment. But Nvidia, I'm thinking about just taking profit now on this thing. It's been pretty good to me. Then one thing I got to keep my eye on is GME. I really want to make sure this is crossing up today. It's just so close to crossing on the daily. You see this, that I don't want to mess around with it too much. I want to be like, okay, is this going to cross up? Because if that daily crosses up, we usually see positivity afterwards. All right, cross up, positivity. Cross up, big positivity, right? If we zoom out on this, that day was a big positive move. So you really want to pay attention to that. Crosses up on the daily over here. What do you get? Positivity. So the daily crossing up is a big deal no matter where that MACD is. Now you can read into that and say it's very low. It's going to be hard to go into a positive trend, but you can see that daily cross up, maybe see resistance towards that 30 level again, right? We keep seeing that resistance there. But we'll see. As of right now, still paying attention. If this 2 hour is able to roll over, that would be a bad sign for GameStop going into the Friday close for the week, in my opinion. Starbucks sucks. Yeah, we do not pay tons of money for sugary coffees. We make our coffee at home. But we like to buy coffee at the farmer's market. So if you do ever donate to the channel or you want me to get a nice cup of coffee or something like that, we do support local farmers. We do support local businesses with their beans and things like that. So that's what we try to do. We go to the farmer's market and buy some nice coffee. Maybe I could team up with them if they're able to sell it online and ship it to you guys. Would you guys be interested in that? Some coffee that I like? We'll have to see, because coffee's important. Gotta have some good coffee. Yes, Maria? All right, I'll try to link up with one. Maybe I'll go to the farmer's market this weekend and mention it to them. Mara, we're starting to see that one base out now. Something about Mara I want you to pay attention to here is this is actual divergence on the 2 hours. So if you look over at Bitcoin, this is kind of compiling up in this area. You're pretty much getting a, I would say, 4 hour pullback. If that curls up, positive territory can be there. And then we want to see the daily scale, and then we can maybe curl that up. So watch out, because Bitcoin has been bottling up, and that can see a pretty good move here. All right, that can see a pretty good move. So just pay attention. Now, Palantir is something people have been paying attention to. We were talking about the 2 hour looking like it needs to pull back, right? But a lot of the time you need a 30-minute divergence before that happens. Now, we have a 30-minute divergence. It's just not on both at the same time. So what we're looking for here from Palantir is a nice move up. See that curl back down. All right, let me go look at those weekly expected moves for you real quick for Palantir. Looks like we can head up towards $32, $33 for Palantir. So this is what I'm looking for from Palantir, a solid move, maybe go up to the resistance line, up to the trend line, and then boom, we start to head down with some kind of divergence here. Maybe that just pops up for a brief moment. We can look at that, but that's what I'd be paying attention to if I'm long on Palantir. That's what I'd be looking for. This is a reversal signal, so that would say, okay, I should take profit on longs. That is what the MACD is telling me here. And then if that curls down, it doesn't necessarily mean take a play because this is a very bullish move. It does mean that the 2 hour can then see a pullback. So if we do go just a little bit higher, you'll notice that this would get slightly maybe overbought, and it would be nice to get a pullback, even pullback with time and then head up again. But $32 looks like the target for this week. But anytime it makes a divergence, that's when I want to pay attention. Tesla finally seeing a 2% move. 2% move. Is it breaking out? Is it crossing up? Yes, it is. So we have it crossed up. We have it going positive, and we're breaking out to the upside. So really important to pay attention to the PCC in a second here as we are testing those higher levels. We'll have to pay attention to what people are doing. Are people thinking we're still going to crash and things like that? Are people getting over leveraged to the put side? We're already pretty leveraged to the put side, so the chances of seeing some kind of short squeeze are there. They are there. So that's something to pay attention to. And we're noticing, oh, GME starting to see some green here, able to actually cross up. That would be a great sign. AMC, if that's able to cross up, that would be a great sign. So pay attention to these little guys as they start to curl up into positive territory. But we see the dollar still dropping off, so looks like this move is overall real. Now, I think the only thing I need for a confirmation that we can squeeze like right now is a couple of things. One, we got to see if people are over leveraged to the put side. Two, we got to see if we're breaking through some key areas. If we're able to get above this, we're able to consolidate into here. Well, if we do that all the way into, say, Friday, we just see some wonky behavior like this, and then we cross up, hey, we could see something crazy at the end of the week. We could see something big to the upside next week. So we'll be paying attention to that. Just know squeezes do take you a lot of the time. They take you outside of those weekly ranges. That's that 32% time. What the heck? I think I'm just going to... What's my average price here? Nice, good moves, good moves. I like it. So what I want to make sure is to see what people are leveraged at. We're starting to test these levels here. Should make a Discord. Yeah, we try to do a lot on Patreon. Like I said, once YouTube can really take over and I can quit the marketing, I still do the marketing job, by the way. So once I can do that, once YouTube's making enough money on the advertising side of things, or just YouTube in general, if we do some kind of like, you know, $5 membership for closing streams or something like that, that can maybe push me over the edge and convince me, hey, okay, now I can put some more time into this community, even more so than I am now. Right now I'm running rampant trying to put as much time as possible into this type of stuff for you guys. I really am. And that's why I'm really trying to push things to get to where they need to be. That's why I wanted to make sure that I had some time this morning. I woke up early, so I wanted to make sure to give you guys some more value there so we can get to that point where, hey, we can maybe do some kind of community or Discord community, but most likely everything will remain on Patreon. So just pay attention to that. We just might do more things on Patreon. How's Apple? Let's go look at Apple real quick. Apple is curling up. So the key thing with Apple is it's able to break above this chunk for now. See if it's able to consolidate. But right now you're kind of saying, hey, I really want to head towards like a 224, 220. I would say 223 to 225. This little bundle in here, right in there would be the key level for now. As we have gone above, we've kind of gapped above the key resistances. You see all these wicks, you see all this going on. Well, we gapped above that just now. So if we're able to hold that, that would be a positive sign going forward. We see the PCC people are getting a little bit leveraged towards the call side. Now we want to pay attention. Is that over leverage? Is the dollar starting to bounce? Are we starting to see some interesting things? Are we seeing these divergences on the volatility play out? So that's what I'd really be paying attention to. I'm going to cancel some orders here. All right, canceling the orders, just keeping the hedge. I was going to cancel my hedges, but I'm going to keep it there just in case because that put call ratio looking a little low. VIX is at 19. That's very, very cool. What's Patreon? Patreon's where we just put out the weekly ranges, monthly ranges, daily ranges for Fridays as well. So we put out all of those ranges in there. That alone is worth way more than $7 a month. I just have to say that. And then every week I do, if I see some good signals, I try to come out and give you an update video. We look at we have all the weekly ranges up on every chart that we look at. We try to talk about some things. So we did talk about how there could be some upside coming last week. And look, upside's coming this week. So now that's something to pay attention to, and we can go over those again once we see some signals. So a lot of the time I like to make that video when we're at a range. Okay, at a range is when I like to do that, and we've kind of been in the middle this whole time, so I'm still waiting for that opportunity. OF. Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's no dirty content on there. It's all dirty financial content. Yeah, we need people to get a little over leveraged is what I would say, but the dollar's not really springboarding back up or anything like that. Tesla doesn't have an expected move for the day, but it can get pretty high here. So if Tesla's been beat up a little bit and it's held some liquidity, built a lot of liquidity here, so a big move up would make sense. As far as Tesla goes for the upside, you could head up above this zone. You literally could get above this zone. You could go as high as like this level right here, I would say. Something right in this level would make sense, or just outside of this zone would make total sense for this week. That's kind of where that area is. If you want the exact levels, though, you're going to have to join the Patreon. People do, I want to tell you as much as I can, but people do actually dedicate their hard-earned money to get that information, and I want to make sure that those people truly benefit. So I don't want to give anything away too much here. We do give you those exact levels for key stocks like AMC, like GME, things like that. So we're still giving you as much as we can on here, but out of respect for the people that dedicate their hard-earned money for it, I want to make sure they're getting their value as they are paying for it. I hope that makes sense. But 3% move here from Tesla. Very, very good move so far. One thing to note is that PCC is not dropping. It is actually growing. So as we hit that daily expected move, we have to see, are people starting to go to the put side? If that happens, you can squeeze them, right? This is where we see squeezes because people keep trying to short the market as it goes higher. That's how a short squeeze happens. More shorts get applied, stocks keep going higher. More shorts get applied, stocks keep going higher. It really causes them to over leverage to the downside. Now, it makes sense. It makes sense for them to do what they're doing here. We can see a pullback. This is the resistance zone for the Qs. Is the SPY getting there? It's just about to. It's really touching the first inklings of that area, but still 540.07 is where I'm really paying attention, and we're looking at that PCC, just making sure things look good. There is no rigged behavior. This move does make sense. This move does make sense at this moment. We'll still pay attention to the signals. It could behave differently than the past, right? So we have to pay attention. We trade like water on this channel for a very, very good reason. But as this move is happening, more puts get applied. Okay, then that weekly expected move looks kind of likely. Tesla looks pretty dang good there. Nvidia looking good as well. Nvidia going up, could head as high as, I would say, like 115, but I really like this zone up here. If we can just head even right before it, if we could just touch that zone a little bit, back off, that would make a lot of sense. We could just blow past it though, as the daily is curling up. I want you guys to notice that daily curling up right now. So if we see people get over leveraged one more time to the put side, we can start to squeeze. So just pay attention. We could head way up even this week, but we need to make sure we're paying attention to the signals. You know, the stock market there you go. Okay, so people are getting over leveraged to the downside already. So as we click over to, say, the SPY, they're starting to head towards that daily expected move. A lot of people in this area, how they do it is when you go up this high, people are convinced, okay, now the market will head higher. And that's where you see a pullback, because they know people are over leveraged to the call side. They want to convince them to go back into puts. But we're seeing kind of the opposite, where puts are coming in. So this can lead up to a short squeeze. And so now's the time to really pay attention to what's going on. So do I want to do anything with that? Let me look for some stuff that maybe hasn't reacted fully yet. Let's look for something with a little bit of a gain. Google giving it up, Microsoft breaking, Meta might give that up, AMC trying to curl up, GME curling up, nothing really lagging behind. Maybe Mara looks like there could be something here. There's probably a little 15-minute divergence in here for some kind of setup as Bitcoin starts to go positive. So 4 hours, see if that thing's able to curl up into positive territory. Might look at the pricing of some of this stuff here. Let's go look at Mara. Mara's kind of lagging behind, so I want to see what's going on with this guy. We see the 4 hour, but I like a 2 hour a little better here. 2 hour crosses up, some positivity can be there. Alrighty. Actually, we might need to... we'll keep that for the time being. Okay. An island top reversal, yeah. So an island top reversal would be kind of what you're thinking right here, right? That would more so mean we see some price action. We actually sit up in this level, and then we gap down the next time, creating that island. So something like that could have happened here. Like you gap down, and then you just do this, and you gap right back up. That would be more of your island reversal. The thumbs up button's lonely today. Amazon fading, didn't really look good. I didn't like Amazon too much. The only thing I like about Amazon is the fact that it's kind of piling up here. You're building a ton of liquidity. So if you do cross up on this 30-minute, you can see a pretty solid move. You're down by that center line, you can see a pretty solid move because we've built up a lot of liquidity in here. You see people are starting to put the puts are coming in again. So this is what you see before you short squeeze a little bit. So there is, we want to say it this way, we're paying close attention to the signals. Anything can happen in the market at any time. Okay, the stock can go up, a stock can go down at any time. So we want to pay attention to the momentum here. As of right now, we have it in the back of our mind that the dollar is dropping off while the market's heading higher. That is the correct correlation, nothing rigged about it. And at these highs, people are starting to put more and more puts in. Okay, so that is telling me, okay, this is a recipe for a short squeeze. Does it mean I should put all my money towards a short squeeze having. No, I want to just pay attention to the signals. If we start to curl up on daily charts and things like that, which something leading that is Nvidia, if this can hold for the day, you have good potential to actually squeeze from this area. If people continue to try to short this on the way up, you could just slowly leak higher, leak higher, leak higher. Kind of like over here, right? People kept trying to short this, kept trying to short this, kept trying to short this, and then eventually break, right? Eventually it just goes bam. So people pile on puts, pile on puts, pile on puts. Enough puts are in the system, boom, big move up causes that gamma squeeze. I've seen nothing but big prices increase last 2 months. Yes, well, if you know anything, you know that they control the data. Okay, the one piece of data they can't really control is that unemployment number. That's why I do like it. I don't think they can control that one as much. So I really like unemployment and things like that. CPI, PPI, all those things, they could just shift it just a tiny bit, right? They can take something out of the data this time. They could not put used cars in. They could not put the housing market in, and then the number looks better. But what can the SPY get up to? As of right now, you really want to pay attention to that 540.07. That's going to be your breakdown area. Okay, so that's going to be the important level for the morning. And then we just want to watch how people are leveraged today. And it looks like a lot of people trying to buy puts again, guessing that the market's going to crash. So the crash is still in a lot of people's minds. Earnings will bring Nvidia to 150, and that could happen. I'm still leaning towards pretty much we need to see what happens with the rate cut. Because September, you pretty much almost have a 100% chance for a rate cut in September, just so you're aware. Was everyone aware of that? You pretty much have like almost 100% chance of getting a rate cut in September now. But what is the rate cut going to look like? Is the rate cut going to be extremely reactionary? We're scared, we need to cut quickly. 50 basis points. This is what we talked about in the video this morning. Or is it going to be just like, okay, yeah, we need to cut a little bit. I think they're going to cut by 25 basis points. The reason for that is because if they cut by 50, not only are you telling the market like, hey, something is sick here, we need to cut quickly. If you cut by 50, you also are allowing the potential for the economy to keep growing, actually, because you're cutting those rates. You have the housing market that could keep growing. You have car lots that can keep growing in price and things like that. So 50 basis point cut would actually cause possibly some inflation to come in if we don't see like a black swan moment that causes higher unemployment. Was there more data to come out today? Not really. Not really. Tomorrow we get more data though. So you will still get a Fed speaker, and then tomorrow we get the core inflation rate. So the core inflation rate month over month is supposed to come in at, or the previous was 0.1, supposed to come in consensus and forecast at 0.2 or 0.3. So core inflation rate is supposed to say tick up over the next by tomorrow. We'll see what the number comes out at as the month to month. The year over year, though, is supposed to come in at even or below. So last one was 3.3, and then now they're saying 3.2 or 3.3 is what it's supposed to come in at tomorrow. That's what we see as of this moment. Volatility is starting to get tighter, though. I'm going to keep my hedge just in case. If we get a squeeze, I'll make plenty of money. But if I have my hedge, then I can kind of break even on that squeeze potential and then maybe make some money to the downside. So I think the hedge is smart here, with most of my leverage going towards actually the upside, which you notice is the opposite of what everyone is doing right now. And you guys know I take longer out expirations, right? So just take that into consideration. I'm not saying, oh, the squeeze is going to happen today and tomorrow. I'm just saying, hey, we have a high potential for higher prices over the next month or so. All right, what you guys chatting about? PPI was lower than expected. Yes, 0.1. Yeah, but the key thing here is you're not like rejecting off of it. You have a gap up and you're not rejecting firmly off of it. Now we have to watch the next hour, but you're not rejecting directly off of it right away. I would still pay attention to volatility in this area, as it is pretty close to the center line with divergence, pretty extreme here. Now that needs to dip a little lower actually for that full divergence point, but we can see if that curls up how it could go positive very quickly. The 2 hour would not be able to rotate back down. Let's look at this from the daily scale just to put it into perspective. Most likely what we're going to see here is a test of this level down here. This level down here will be more important. So as of right now, you are curling over on the daily MACD. We see that happening right now for the volatility. So that is something to pay attention to. If that holds, you have a high potential for a squeeze, especially if the PCC remains higher and the dollar keeps dropping. The dollar is starting to turn around just a little bit. We'll see. MSTR, 130 hold long term. You are curled up on the 30-minute. That's a good sign from your shorter time frame. The 2 hour has that thing curled up. I believe it has. Okay, so watch out if that does curl down. You can see lower prices, but this wick up is telling me, hey, they did not want it to break down back then, even with the earnings. So something good to pay attention to in this area are just going to be daily swing ups. Right, see this get above this level. Okay, Nvidia already did that, so that might be some good encouragement there. But see if that daily can really cross up on this MACD, get above that center line, and just get above the 9 or the 20. I think that would be a very good sign for some positivity. Maybe we're actually able to head higher, go test a high, go make a new one. Right, we're still within range of going positive. You notice the last time we went positive, hey, we tested the high, made a new one. It depends on the stock, Alexander. I like to look at everything pretty much with an open mind going in. I do know there's been a lot of flight to safety lately, but that flight to safety can change and maybe that money gets put back into the market. We'll see. We'll see. But a lot of daily charts is what we're overall looking for here. Is the SPY going to curl up? Are the Qs going to curl up? Right? They're just so close to crossing up. Is Apple going to curl up? It's so close. And look, all the swing trade signals are there except for the MACD, the lagging indicator, right? You have the RSI above the center line. You have this going up. Like everything here is saying upside. Tesla, this one not close to curling up, but it's starting to cross above the 200 and the 9-day moving average. Amazon, is that thing starting to cross up? Well, it's below the 200. So Amazon looking a little weaker than some other things. Nvidia looking fantastic. If that cross up is able to hold today, we're still in the first hour of the day, but for the most part, if that's able to cross up today, I would really, really like that. AMD, is that one crossing up? Yes, it is. Is it able to take back that 200? Because you could run into some resistance up in these areas. That's something to pay attention to. Meta already curled up. Microsoft trying to curl up above the 200. You already have one of the signals with the price action, just kind of waiting for at least another one to catch up. Google, that doesn't look as good. Netflix, has that crossed up? Yes, it has. So that's giving you the swing trade signal. So everything is pointing towards upside as far as I see it right now. Now, Tesla, I'm already up now with that move. I'm up 98%. That's all I needed. 98%. I like this structure on the 30-minute. I like the 2-hour divergences. I like the 30-minute divergence. But I want to talk to you guys about how I did this trade because this channel is about learning. I want to talk to you guys about this trade, okay? Are we cool with that for a second? You guys cool with talking about Tesla for a second on this trade? So I took this trade right here, right? And then around this area, that's where we started to see some, maybe people get a little leverage towards the call side just for a brief moment. And so what I did was I said, hey, let me just manage my risk early here, saw the big drop. Then, because I'm being patient, I know that, hey, this is looking like it's going to consolidate further. Then I just see, okay, if this rounds out and crosses up, I'm right back in the move. So I got right back into the move right here. And I see that cross up. Now that positivity is coming in. We're starting to head towards a sell zone. But I know that the weekly expected move is much higher than this. So I can see a move all the way up to possibly 215 or 213 or something like that. And then see that get to the top of my zone. What we like to do a lot of the time is we touch in this, we touch above this, then we come back down into it, then we burst through, say on Friday. I think that would be a very good look. IWM just dropped. When? Ooh, IWM kind of dropping here. So key thing with IWM to pay attention to is trading like water, right? If I'm trying to take a trade on this based on the shorter time frames, right? I don't have a longer out position. Maybe I only have a week or two. I'm taking a 30-minute play. Well, I would still want to know, hey, this is in negative territory, so I have to be paying attention to my trade here. If I'm looking at a 15-minute, if the 15-minute crosses back down, there is no way for that 30-minute to continue to go up. So that's what I'm looking at. Luke, do you wait for the 30-minute or more to enter the stock? Well, it depends. If the 30 minutes crossing up, I'm taking the play, but I don't day trade, and that's a key thing to understand. I never do a day trade. Even on a 30-minute little divergence, I'm not doing a day trade. I'm at least on a 30-minute divergence doing 2 weeks out, and that's to be able to manage my risk. If I take that away, then I can lose a bigger amount of money. If I do it only, say, a few days until expiration, well, then I don't have time on my side at all, right? Time really eats away at you if you make the wrong decision and you only have a couple of days. Giving that little 2-week buffer will allow me not to lose 90%, maybe only 20% when I need to manage my trade. But when I get into a play, I'm more so thinking about the expiration, the time. Start thinking about the timeline of your trade and know that things can take a lot of time to happen. Once you do that, you can take, like, right, that 30-minute cross-up's what I am looking for. And I see that, and then 30-minute crosses up, I go, okay, I'm going to take the play. I know this is a 30-minute trade, so I have to watch it very closely. If I'm doing a 2-hour play, a daily play, I can really take a step back. I can go to lunch without a lot of fear. I can just look at the stock market once every hour or so, and just be like, yeah, things still look good. All right, put my phone away. All right, yeah, things still look good. Now put my phone away. And then I can really spend most of my time doing what's important with life as a human being, connecting with other people, connecting with my family. So that's why I really encourage the higher time frame plays, because you will see some good things. Now, it could mean you focus for a little bit, right? Something like Nvidia, right? Let's look at this one. Let's look at this on the 2-hour. Maybe you focus a lot on this 2-hour, and then you know that a daily swing trade, it can form. So you go, okay, I'm going to focus for a little bit here, and then once that daily swing trade actually performs, actually proves itself, then I can be pretty confident with it. But has that completed today? No, it hasn't. Not yet. So it would mean, hey, I can get into the play, manage it for a little while, but as long as that looks good, okay, now the daily swing trade's there, now I can take my time with it. Nightmare, I pushed the wrong button. I have pushed the wrong button before, Maria. Yeah, I have definitely done that before. So I have definitely I've definitely accidentally oh my god, you guys. There's once during the bear market where I saw a triple divergence on the 30-minute, and I kind of thought it was going to happen, so I didn't manage the trade, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to scale in, and I went to scale in, and I hit the sell button. And I was trying to double the amount of contracts I had because of the price of the option for a month out. And I hit the sell button of all my contracts, and then the stock exploded like 30 minutes later, and I didn't realize it right away. And I literally sold at the bottom, and that was awful. You're making a ton of sense right now, brother. A ton. Yeah, so that's how I think about it, Mojoma. That's kind of how I think about it. I'm like, I can use the shorter time frames behind a bigger one so that I can, have some time to myself, right? I can use the shorter time frames. That's why in the course we talk about the golden setup. You people who have taken the course, you know about the golden setup. That is what the golden setup is for. It's to really teach you, like, you can use those shorter time frames, see if everything happens. When all that happens, pull the trigger, manage the trade for a little bit, and then once the daily signal confirms, you can sit back and relax. You know what I mean? You can sit back and be like, hey, this looks like a great trade, and I can take I still have to manage it, but I don't have to look at it every 15 minutes, like a 30-minute trade. Nice, congratulations, William. I love to hear about some profit. I know, Lily. I know. Sometimes, I fat finger stuff, even though I don't really have the biggest fingers. But yeah, my ring is so tiny. I think it's funny. But Let's see what the Dow's doing. Dow's giving it up. Okay, Dow's giving it up. We have to see if people start going to the call side. They actually are a little bit, I would say 92, right? 0.92, going to it a little bit, starting to see a little bit of rejection here. What we want to see is, do we curl over on some 30 minutes from this area? That's going to be pretty key. Or do we just pile up in this area to actually head higher? I think that's a big sign. Now, another thing we can also look at for the day is if we see a dramatic shift here. We haven't seen it. Nothing about this looks like rigged behavior to me just yet. If this 2 hour really just like sees a strong bar and flips completely around, we need to be paying attention, all right? Right now, the market is correlating with the dollar at this moment. It looks like if the 4 hour does cross down, we were trying to figure out, is the dollar wrong or is the market wrong? Right now, the dollar is saying, I'm wrong, I'm supposed to go down. People were just scared selling here. We weren't really saying, we said this has potential to be some kind of rigged move, but we need to see who's right. Is it the dollar or is it the SPY? I want you to notice we were talking about it a little bit different than the past, right? In the past, we're like, oh, dollar's up, SPY's up, same time. Okay, rigged move, PCC's high. This time, it's a little bit different. It's more of a who's right and who's wrong. AMC kind of sucks. Well, it's still in an area where you like it, but it can remain in this area for a long time. But the main signal, if you're someone who maybe doesn't, you really want to be like, okay, I want to go with the highest potential for when this thing is going to break to the upside, it's when this daily can cross. It's when the daily can really cross up on this MACD and confirm on the lagging indicator, or at least in the price action, but that should happen at the same time. You see this and it closes like that, that's when you really want to pay attention. Look in the past, right? We cross up. Pretty much you got two of the signals. Once you get two of the signals, I'd say right in here, this bar looks pretty good. Even this one, you see two of the signals, positivity comes, right? So a lot of the time lagging behind, but you can see two of the signals, positivity comes. Right now, you don't have two of the signals, right? So you need that positivity to come to see that big move. Good morning, Nyson. Volume Profile has a new one. I did like Volume Profile back in the day. Candle Thickness. Candle Thickness. I'm going to go look that up. Is that thickness or thinkness? It's got to be thickness. Right? Candle Thickness. Thickness. Yeah, I was like, candle thickness. We'll see what's going on from here. PCC still holding up at like 0.93, so we'll still pay attention to that. We'd like people to get a little more overzealous to the call side. Volatility, we can pay attention to the 30-minute signal. If we're going to see volatility come back in, you're just going to see this 30-minute cross up, which will mean the SPY most likely crosses down shortly after. $4 up is a pretty dang big move. But we've seen them pile, we've seen a lot of people pile on these shorts, so. I do want to go look at Bitcoin again. This looked pretty solid. Okay, rejection. See if that 4 hour can curl up. And then Mara starting to catch up here. I actually like the look of Mara on the 2 hour. If that can confirm, you can see that daily start to turn up. We see the daily got below the 200. Watch out for the 200, but you can see a move here. Yeah, it's very difficult. It is hard. It is hard, but you just want to zoom out on things, see what's going on. PCC still a little bit high. The SPY, yes, it is reaching a key area, but this is really where you need to break through. Something you would like to happen here is if you can pile up, right? If you can pile up, that would be fine. You kind of consolidate, break through, maybe with CPI. Maybe we see a boring day. We're going to try to go live later this afternoon, by the way, hoping to do a closing stream, as long as the price action doesn't look like boring as hell if you're just sideways the whole day. Because it might be, hey, this is the move because of PPI. Now people want to wait, and then see if another move comes with the CPI. Palantir, yeah, Palantir looking for that 30-minute divergence at this point. I think 30-minute divergence is likely. We'll have to see what this looks like if it heads up towards 32. I think 32 would be a good area as you're starting to get that crossing of the MACD. We'll see if that can hold for now. But if this does cross up, then the most likely thing to happen is you head up from here. 32 looks like the area to pay attention. Portugal. Porra. Ethereum was one I was paying attention to as well. Ethereum, I think it was a 2-hour chart. I liked how it was holding up. I thought Ethereum looked pretty good. SMCI seeing another good upward move today, 5.46%. AMC starting to flip negative here. If that 2-hour does cross down, we should expect negativity. 30-minute is crossed down, so no cross up yet for AMC. Trying to cross up for GME, starting to fail a little bit. And then we'll see Tesla as it tries to reach that zone. What starts to happen? Well, we see some resistance come in. Okay, so that's why that zone's important. You see the wick almost getting there, so close, but that's what we want to pay attention to. Want to see if dailies can start to get some ground back. Want to see if 2 hours can remain, maybe even go positive with the rejection happening here. The most likely thing is still upside. We have to pay attention to the shorter time frames, but for now, you would say, hey, there is potential for us to move sideways throughout the day. Maybe we can see a sideways price action in this area. If you really wanted to be that guy, you can say, oh, this could be some kind of massive cup. Now, this probably violated that, but this would be an area where if we can pile up here, then explode high, that would be good. What was SPY support level if we head down? If we head down, it's mainly going to be that 526.47 if you break below this area. So you get a break below like 532. You might beeline for 527.83 or 526.47. Is that Nail? You know I love Nail. Nail's awesome. I absolutely love Nail Home Builders. This is one of the 3x leverage one that I really enjoy. Looking at the 2-hour chart here, we see that has curled up. It's trying to gain some ground here. You could still be consolidating. What you mainly want to look for in these would be, hey, what does the overall housing market look like? And thank you, Shane Moss, for the $2. Really appreciate that this morning. Thank you. Sending it to the coffee fund. So what I want to pay attention to more so with this is looking at maybe the housing sector. A lot of the time I'll look at the housing sector, see how it is doing, and then I'll make a decision with Nail. We see a kind of similar thing. It's just not as dramatic. Seeing the 2-hour doing the rejection thing. So we'll see. But for the most part, I would say 30-minute crossed up. If that can remain crossed up and go positive here, that would be a good sign. That would be a good sign. So you have good signs happening right now. I don't necessarily know what happens with, we can look at Chipotle in a moment. I'll look at Chipotle here in a second. 30-minute is crossing up for AVGO. Okay, so we're seeing Broadcom actually head to the upside with a 30-minute cross up, finally getting a little bit towards overbought. You got a bunch of divergence down here, so leading to a pop. Really want to pay attention. Is the daily crossing up? It is. Okay, so you have AVGO. Notice this, the two stocks that Nancy Pelosi are invested in are both crossing up on daily MACDs. Breakfast delivery. Baby girl's doing great. We took her out to Topgolf with us yesterday, so it was a lot of fun. She thought it was very interesting. As far as Chipotle goes, this might be an opposite reaction to the, I think someone said the acquisition. They lost their CEO to another company. Burn. So as of right now, the signals here, there's nothing really telling me like, hey, this has to reverse, right? There's nothing telling me really anything here. You're hoping this holds that support and can curl back up. Just mainly paying attention to maybe the daily scale, right? Seeing if that can, again, confirm back up in this area. This is where the swing trade did not work out, right? swing trade did not work out to the upside with some random news. So sometimes you get unlucky, right? Volatility still heading down. SPY still good. If we sit up here, I wonder if people start to get a little scared and start to just go, okay, fine, the market's going to go down. Buys a bunch of puts, and then at the end of the day or tomorrow it starts to head up. That would be interesting. Got myself a little breakfast sandwich. With some bacon. One thing I'm doing, I'm getting too excited. I have too many plays going on, honestly. I need to focus in on one or two. Hey, Mr. Win, how's it going? Ty Win? Yeah, we went to Topgolf. It was a lot of fun. A little too much fun. I had a little too much fun. Those are like my best friends, so it's very hard not to have too much fun with your besties. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just not we've had a lot of storms and our internet's been really wonky, so we've literally been storming for the last like 5 days or something, just off and on. And so with those storms, I want to make sure everything's working properly, so that's why the video's not on today. We literally had another thunderstorm all morning. Yeah, we'll have the video back up eventually. Trust me, we will. And you see PCC, so it is still remaining high. And that dollar's still dropping off, so a lot of things here are pointing towards short squeeze. But I'd say the main level of short squeeze is like you break above this, you break above 555, you might be squeezing for an all-time high. We'll find out. A lot of price action to take place before that happens. Yeah, so my shoulder kept like shifting. My left shoulder, I still have to train it more. I've dislocated both of my shoulders, so during soccer. And so what I want to do is, I was like hitting and I couldn't hit at all. I couldn't hit at all. So I finally picked up the driver, just swung real slow, and finally my shoulder could handle it. And then I hit some dingers to the back tape without even trying to swing hard. That's nice. Felt good. I love that Angry Birds game. I think that's so funny. Broke a rib once. Yeah, ribs suck to break. Hurts the lungs, hurts all that. But I've only broken ankles. I've dislocated my thumb, dislocated my shoulders. I've snapped in half my collarbone. I've chipped my collarbone. Those are the main ones. I actually had a teammate who, during a game, and we were playing, and this is when I was in high school, we were playing a game, and he snapped his femur in half, your biggest bone in your body. Would Tesla leaps make sense now? As far as leaps go, I mean, the only thing I would say is Tesla has positivity, that it has positive potential, I would say, for the next month. As long as these signals remain the same as of right now, with my opinion right now, I think Tesla has good potential to head up towards like this area up in here. We can kind of see it with the structure too. You see this little dip down. If we headed up to here and we saw that resistance come in, boom, like this, kind of curl down for the retest, and then boom, head to the upside. I really like that. I'm in Kansas. SPY 5-minute divergence about to cross. So yeah, you'll see a lot of 5-minute divergences, right? I don't see much on the 5-minute for now. I'm not seeing that divergence personally. Maybe you have a 15-minute, right? 15-minute, but that kind of got violent. Look at all the divergence. Hey, dip down. Now you're just curling back up. This actually could be the point where you make a new high, kind of like where you got overbought over here. That's why I like my time frames. I like my 30 minutes. I like my 2 hours. 30 minutes not even overbought. People are not over leveraged to the put side. It would make sense to dip down today too. Kind of do something like this. Convince people to get puts again, and then boom, see that big move up. Yeah, I still have my hedge in there. God, why am I only in meme stocks? Because you believe. You believe. Hey, it's not a bad time, right? It's really not a bad timing on this. If the daily can cross up, then the timing isn't really that bad, right? You would just hope like, oh, I hope I invested down towards 437. That way now I feel a little bit better as I'm just waiting for something to happen. But all the moving averages are really piled up here. We can see something crazy. We'll find out. AMD seeing a pretty solid move, able to cross up on the daily MACD as of right now, by the way. I just don't like the setup there. Okay, let's do this. Let's leave it on the SPY. I'm going to eat a little bit here, chill for a second, hang out with you guys, watch the SPY for a bit, see if any signals start to reverse down. As of right now, looking pretty good, and I want to keep my eye on that PCC as well and the dollar. Ah! Disney? Yeah, Nazim, I can take a look at it for you. Let's look at Disney real quick. Disney. The one thing about Disney is this is elongated right now, so the 30-minute crossing down could mean you need to make a point of divergence, all right? You do have those divergences down here, but triple divergences do happen in these environments when volatility is higher. Just pay attention to this bar. If that's red, not a good sign. Pretty good sign that you might go do this, right? So your timing might just be a little bit off, but that could just be really bad. Now, if that's able to, not confirm and just kind of turn back up, well, maybe we need to pay attention to some bigger time frames. 2 hour is curling up with the divergence here. Maybe I want to say, okay, maybe I'm scaling into this. Is daily curling up or something like that? It hasn't just yet. So if that daily can curl up, you'll see more of a big move. But for now, you're in a major downtrend. So if that 30-minute crosses down, negativity, most likely option, crosses right back up, positivity, a good option there. Made money on your Tesla calls. Congratulations, Kalani. That's awesome. We love to hear it. It's a good move. It's a great move. And I think you at least got a chance to go up towards that 215, really test the breakdown area. But, as moves go up, you know me, I like to take profit on the way up. That way I can make some moolah. Make sure to manage my risk as it goes up by taking profit so I can actually be in the money all this time. Or have profit, not really in the money, but... PCC starting to drop off a little bit. Dollar bouncing back just a tiny, tiny bit. DJT breakdown is a buy. I don't know about that. We'll see. We might just need some more price action. Pretty solid morning though. Did IWM still kind of flagging down here. Just really tight still. Really haven't seen that breakout from IWM. The Dow Jones as well, still kind of doing that almost cup and handle like behavior here. We'll see what happens. Actually, that doesn't even look really like cup and handle. This looks like I got to pay attention to the 2 hour crossing down. That's what that looks like. Volatility is still looking pretty flat. Nvidia is starting to lose it. That's the first signs. You can see a pullback here. We can start to move sideways, pull back down, right? Something to kind of base out, but overall, we just want to pay attention to what's happening in front of us. BCC still up a little bit, starting to come down. Dollar starting to turn a little bit back around. Alrighty, so we got to pay attention. One thing I would see is if volatility on the 30-minute is able to cross up and go positive. I think that would be a good sign. Hey, we could see some kind of pullback. We're starting to see people get over leveraged now to the downs or to the upside. Just a little bit. So I don't necessarily want to make any specific moves just yet. Look at Tesla as well. Might reject, come retest 199. Yeah, it's just hard for, if Nvidia gives this daily swing trade signal, it's very hard to be really negative on it. It's taking back the 20. You have a good zone above you for some consolidation. It's just very difficult to say like, oh yeah, this is going to be negative for a long time. You can turn back down. We just have to see if 2 hours roll over, but for the most part, we're just paying attention to what's going on. Things look decent. We could always reverse back down, go fill a gap or something like that. Try to convince people to go to the put side again. People are still scared of a crash. And there's some credibility to that. That's for sure. Stock hasn't moved for a couple of days on Mickey D's. Yeah, if the 30-minute crosses, then you would say, okay, lower price action, maybe something like this 265 level. 2 hour hasn't confirmed up either, so I'd really be watching that 30-minute. That 30-minute crosses down. You want to say, okay, something bad could happen. If it crosses back up, you just say, okay, I don't need to manage this anymore, but it hasn't crossed down yet. If that crosses down, manage the trade, boom, curls back up. All right, positivity might be there with a divergence. There is money to be made to the downside. Hey, there's money to be made in both directions. We'll see what happens. HYG up, TLT up, yields really breaking down. Daily not able to cross. SPY trying, Qs trying. Just coming to the 20, that is a lot of the time what you'll do. You can go to the 20, reject, and just do that. We'll still look at the signals, see how people are leveraged. But Tesla with the breakout of consolidation kind of leans me towards the bull side still. Nvidia, if it can just hold this all day, I think that'll be very telling. Oh, yeah, that would give you a heart attack, wouldn't it, Lizard? Oh, shit, my sandwich just flopped over. Yeah, slow morning. That's kind of how it's been lately. Big move, boring. Big move, boring. Then maybe big move at the end of the day. AMC flashing back over to negative, not able to cross up on the 30-minute. GameStop looking like it might want to give it up too. We'll see. Dollar starting to turn back around, not able to get back in the zone just yet. SPY still not reaching that daily expected move. PCC at 0.88. We'll see what happens. There is some truth to it. There's some truth to it. It's kind of like the, you would say rebalancing at the halfway point in the year, the quarters, things like that do happen. Like a lot of the time you'll see stocks just pump, 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 pump all throughout, like say towards the end of December. Just because it's like, oh, okay, we need these really high numbers so we get all our bonuses, and then January sometimes you see hiccups. I want to look at something over here real quick. Kind of want to look at our max pain for the day. Whoa, no way. Max pain for the day is 533, but there's a lot of puts in there. You break above 540. Wow, you break above 540, you can see something crazy. That's what the max pain's telling me over here. And look where our expected move is. Uh-oh. We'll have to see. Remember, there's some puts in the market right now, so if this could just even remain higher, that might be a good thing for positivity. People could start to cover or something like that. Let's look at this one. 200. All right, cool. What's this white line? This white line is the 200 SMA. If it was a fake pump, we technically should have seen the dollar heading higher with it, right? And if it was a fake pump, then we probably would see the PCC much lower, like at like a 0.8, 0.75 down in this area during the last fake pump. We're not necessarily seeing that. Now, anything can happen. Things can just reverse back down. So if this 30-minute crosses, we have something else to say. Yeah, okay. I'm down, William, yeah. Okay, should I take after the swing trade? Swing course, very beneficial. Also sent you an email. Thanks for the opportunity to email you questions. Appreciate all the help. Yeah, I still need to get through my emails. My friends being here from Japan is really like just caused me to be even more busy. But I'm going to try to get through those emails as soon as possible. I know Nyson, I still have to get back to him as well. For the most part, the technical indicators course is really going to help you. If you really can understand the swing trading course, it's a great base. And then you go into the technical indicators course, that's 90% off. It's right there in the description. That's where you'll learn about divergence, weekly expected moves, managing trades, like all that stuff. Managing the trade for that course is a lot more in depth. And you'll also learn some other things. We talk about patience. We talk about all kinds of things in that course that can really help you overall. What work does your friend do in Japan? He is a pilot for the Air Force. He's a captain. So he refuels the fighter jets and stuff like that in the air. So he flies the big tankers. Yeah, keep shouting out stuff you want me to look at. I'm fine, John, looking at some Intel and some Clove, right? But let me just finish this thing. I got like 4 more bites and I'm done. I'm a slow eater, so if I don't sit and eat it, it'll get soggy. I got you, Scott. I got you too, John. Just give me a moment. It's always during a short squeeze, that mentality of this can't keep going up, right? That's what usually adds fuel to the short squeeze fire. But we haven't hit that short squeeze level yet. Oh, shit. Almost spilled everything. All right. One more big bite. One more big bite after this. We're getting into the stocks, all right? Yo. I don't know what that quote is, but I do love pretzels. It's one of my favorite things. 10K incoming. We'll have to have a celebration for 10K. Maybe I actually should make t-shirts and give away some t-shirts for 10K. We'll see. Oh, Seinfeld, okay. I was never the biggest Seinfeld fan, I will admit that. Major money, you're out, Kalani. That's what we like to see. Okay, first of all, we're going to go in order here. John, you still here? John. Get your ass back here, John. John. We're going to look at some intel, all right? We're going to look at some intel for you. What up, Capture This? How you doing? All right. Finally, we're seeing something from Intel that says, hey, we could get a bounce to the upside. Do I like the look of this? Do I like the look? Not necessarily. I really don't, to be totally honest with you, just because there's a major drop off. You're going to see reactions. So pretty much right now, if the daily can cross up, yeah, you can see positivity, but this is not something that I would overall look at for a trade setup. If you wanted to play some kind of bounce, the 4 hour could take you up to 24.64, but that's not guaranteed at all. You are very negative here. So there's no real reversal sign in here. If this is a point where you want to potentially look at for an investment, I would understand that. It would make sense. Make sure to do your due diligence and make a decision. But for the most part, there is almost no trade setup here. You can pretty much, when you see a big drop like this, you can bounce at any time. Right, you are tapering off and things like that. You can still bounce at any time, but is it a good trade setup? In my mind, no. Did you have too much fun last night? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I drank a little bit. Who knows? I never drink either, but those are my friends that we always drink together, and they're a ton of fun. So those are the only people that I really enjoy drinking with. As far as Clove goes, looks like we have a bunch of divergence points for the 2 hour. What we want to look for maybe in the near price action, do we have a 30-minute divergence? You kind of do across the highs here, but that is crossed up. If that starts to cross down, all right, maybe some negativity comes. 2 hour, if that starts to cross down, good potential there for some reversal in trend. You're pretty close to the center line. You got divergence all across this bad boy. So if that wants to cross back down, you could experience a daily pullback. Look at this big move. I'm just assuming that the daily, oh, it actually was pulling back. Okay, awesome. So you have the daily divergence right in here. Little daily divergence, that trying to play it out for a pullback down to there. See if that can cross up. If that starts to fail though, that could be just another point of divergence to pay attention to. We could start to roll over. So I would say the main signal is the 2 hour chart. That thing crosses down, you got potential for some negativity. Nvidia pulling back? Yeah, Clove, that's a crazy move though. I will say that. That's a wow. That is a big one. As far as Nvidia goes, still holding that upside, so nothing here talking bearish, nothing there. It's just curling up on a daily if that can hold by the end of the day. Most likely thing is positivity. Now you can see little pullbacks in here, or maybe we do actually fail. Maybe it crosses and fails right away. Who knows? A lot can happen, but as long as we're paying attention to it, the most probable thing from this area with these signals is upside if all of this holds. You have a MACD cross, right? We have price action above the 9 and the 20. We have the MACD crossed up, the lagging indicator, and we have the RSI above the center line. All of this says positivity. John, I hope that's helpful. I know it's not. I feel like when I talk about that, that way towards a stock, it's not necessarily what someone wants to hear, but it is my true sentiment towards a stock. I'm looking for something with a very obvious good setup. That is one that I would say, hey, Intel, it's a great company. I don't think it's a bad company by any means. If you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, there's just not really a trade setup is the only thing with how I do things. I wouldn't say there is a trade setup for me. Less time on contracts. I don't sit in my trades due to them taking profits every day. Exactly. Yeah, Bron. So it's always good to take profit pretty much throughout the whole thing. That's why on the Nvidia move, you saw, okay, take profit here. I believe it was take profit here, take profit at the top of the channel. Okay, now I leave the runners, and now I'm going to benefit from that if it squeezes. So good stuff. I'm doing the same thing. Now I just have pretty much no risk in this from what I first invested in the trade. Now I pretty much have no risk. If this goes up, I make money and I'm happy, and I have pretty much no risk. Let me look back up. All right. Hood. What is XTO? We'll maybe take a look. I don't know. That one sounds fishy. Hood. Trying to do the same thing. You see a lot of these just trying to confirm upward moves. All right, kind of V-shaping though, isn't it? Kind of V-shaping, like it really is. I know it's a little bit of more of a struggle, but kind of V-shaping. So one thing to notice is once you do cross up on that MACD, even at lower levels, right? This is very low, so we have to be open to a lower high. But if that's able to cross up, that would mean some positivity. Watch out as we test a breakdown area, all right? Same thing we got to do with Nvidia. The main breakdown area is going to be right above us. So we got to test that. So if we can come up to there, curl back down, curl back up, that's kind of what you're looking for in a lot of these charts. That's why I'm kind of looking at another one. Hood could give you that signal soon. No, I will not, Onda. No. Because if this is truly going to short squeeze, I don't need to pile more money into it. I'm going to make plenty. Right? I'm overall just like, I want to make the trade that I did a good one. And right now it's a good one. If I would say add money to it, then I'm adding more risk, right? I'm risking more of my money. So what I want to do is I just want to hold with the amount of money that pretty much the market gave me with my initial good trade on it. And I can hold a couple of those contracts now and just see some upside. Once I start to add money to it, if that goes wrong, then more of it can go wrong for me. This is a way for me to say my risk is pretty much nothing. Right now, it's more of a opportunity cost risk, right? It's like, okay, my opportunity is this goes higher, I make good money. My opportunity cost is this goes down, and I don't really lose my own money, but I lose out on potential profits I could have made. That's kind of how I look at it from an opportunity cost perspective on this trade. So I won't be adding to it because I don't want to add any more of my risk. I already know my risk here is pretty much zero. It's only opportunity cost that I'm dealing with. So that's it. What is XTIA? I gotta look. Aerospace company? I knew this would be low. I can't do analysis on this. I mean, look at the chart. I just can't do anything on this. I'm sorry, I just can't. It's just impossible. Like, look at the MACD and the downward price action. You get random pops. Kava is good for the daily scalping. Kava's one. It gave you the daily swing trade signal. I would say that overall confirmed right here, probably. This is where I think, oh, no, it was a little further. Right there. Okay, so right here is where you had all three ticks. Right here, you're above the 9. You're even above the 20. While you're above the 200, that's fantastic. Not as risky. And then you see this was already curled up. Awesome. You see that curl up of the MACD on that bar. Great. And the RSI was finally able to break above the center line on that bar. So right here was the overall swing trade. Now you can see a lot from here, right? Cup, handle, head higher. That could be possible. Earnings is going to throw you for a loop, so just be careful with that. Dude, SPY still looking okay. Qs, okay. The Qs actually are going higher here. Let me go look at that max pain. Let me look at the Qs max pain real quick, guys. Give me a brief moment here. No, I do not know what is up with my options values right now, but it is going up by 2%. Like my whole, I don't know what trade it is. I don't know what trade it is, but my whole portfolio has gone up 2%, down 2%, up 2%, down 3%, up 2%, all within this morning. I don't know what trade it is. I keep looking over, trying to see the numbers, what is flipping back and forth. It's like, what the hell is going on? By the way, there is a I gotta show you guys this. There is a massive amount of puts at 455. We are above that level right now. Look at that. Look at that. Look at it. Would you just look at it? Massive amount of puts there. So if we can hold above that, you might squeeze. Holy crap. Let's look for the end of the week, though. 470, pretty much even, 1-to-1. Wow, a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of money at risk this week. But my goodness, what is that? That is kind of crazy. Someone's very confident, or a lot of people are very confident there. Of course, Diana. Yeah. I like that Kava play. I mean, I like it. It was a great little swing trade if you played it correctly, if you were patient all the time, if you were waiting for the closing of the bar. It's a great trade. You saw like 3 days of upside. That might be enough to, you know, start taking profit or something like that. I never know. I don't know your guys' strategies. That's what I would do. Take a little bit off the table if I see something crazy. That's awesome. I think you have an opportunity to head higher and then cup and handle. I think that would be the most likely scenario, but you know, it's always about what do the signals look like on the shorter time frames and things like that. So actually, we probably should do that, right? If this is making any kind of 30-minute divergence, like it might be right now, that is something to pay attention to. Now, you haven't seen that cross back down. You're probably pretty good. 2 hour. Maximum pain. Yeah, your maximum pain is 455 for the Qs. For this, you're just seeing great upside. I think high potential to start to make some kind of handle once you reach these levels of $94, $95. Very high potential there to make some kind of handle, I would say. Great signals, though. I love this. Wow, I love that. Didn't love this. Right, but the 2 hour signal here crossed up, and then you have to manage the trade for a brief moment. Big drop down, another opportunity for a trade with that cross up, cross back down, crosses up. Okay, we're in the play. Actually, ever since right here, you really got that good upside. Maybe a management of the trade. That would have had you back in here, though. And then the big move happens. So great trades. Even for the shorter time frames, I think those were great trades. Yeah, so you have a major amount of puts at 455 right below you for the Qs. Their thickness grows as volume increases. I wonder if I can add that real quick. What's it? Candle thickness? Or is it just the volume? I already have volume on. Did they like add it to the regular volume? GME is trying. It's really trying. It's trying its hardest, I swear. Hey, that's a 30-minute cross up, isn't it? That's a good sign. That's a good sign. We got to see if dailies start curling up, right? Can this curl up? Actually, let me go use the, not indicators. Oh, candle type. So it's like these. Volume candles. Ooh. Ah, dang it. I don't want to upgrade. I've been using my basic bitch shit for a long time. Do you think GME and AMC squeeze with the market? It's possible if they squeeze with the market. then I'm expecting it to just be a gamma squeeze. I'm not expecting it to be the short squeeze. Yeah. Nice, and if it really helps you, I respect it. Send me a picture to my email, and I'm definitely going to sit down and look through my emails. I know I have like 5 people that have emailed me in the last week, and I've just been hectic for a while now. Now that my friend's gone from Japan, they're going to be gone tomorrow. I might have to see them today, but after today, pretty much now, I will be sitting down and reading through my email. So even if you need to resend it or something like that, nice, and I already saw yours, so I can click on that one very easily. But if you did send me an email even like a week ago, please resend that email. But I have it in my notes still right here on my computer. I'm ready to go. It's just life's been crazy. Let me go use the restroom real quick and I'll be right back, guys. Okay, 2 minutes. Let's go put this on the SPY though. Actually, let's put it on the Qs as it's reaching that resistance. Alrighty, let's see here. I'm gonna zoom up here so you can see that PCC and the dollar. Dollar dropping down, so nothing about this says rigged to me just yet. All right, be right back, 2 minutes. Oh, awesome, nice, and okay. Uh-oh, what's happening? What are we doing? Are we trying to get the Qs to break out to the upside? Andrew Brown, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you. Oh, Jeffrey, sorry, I was away for just a second. Guys, can you guys take a look at the chart for me? I have some puts in DR Horton, and I'm wondering where it will be retraced back down to. I don't think reached a 61.8 fib like Leonard did. Should I expect that? It won't. Jeffrey, I don't know the ticker for that. DHI, right? Okay. I don't know about a retrace. That's some divergence down here. Did the 2 hour curl up? So you have okay, so the reason I'm looking at this right away, 2 hour divergence, or I'm sorry, 30-minute divergence. 30-minute divergence here. That can start to turn up 2 hour charts. Let's look at that 2 hour. 2 hour rejecting the cross down, actually confirming to the upside, running into some resistance now. So this is kind of that area where you can run into some resistance. Let's look back on the 30-minute here. You really want to break above this high. Did that curl up like what's the daily look like? It is curling down. It's a tough one. You would overall say if this can just hold above there with a strong bar, you have a good chance. Go test these levels, right? If that can curl up on that MACD. For now, the 2 hour pretty positive here. What I'd really be looking for is that 30-minute crossing down. If that 30-minute, and Jeffrey, thank you so much for subscribing, but if that 30-minute does cross down, you should expect negativity. As of right now, you're crossed up in positive territory. You're not very overbought or anything. Looks like some consolidation. Okay, it looks like some consolidation in here. So that's what I would really be paying attention to. From this area too, you see that if you did react all the way up to here, like you did, you pretty much got there. You can see if we just deleted this out, let's just say this never happened. This right here never happened. Well, then you'd have left, head, maybe from this area you go make that right shoulder, right? But if you can break through that area, that would be a good sign. As of right now, if that 30 minutes positive, if that curls down, bad things. Okay, so let's even look at a 15-minute. That was able to get overbought. If that curls down, you might say manage the trade for an opportunity and then see if that is able to curl back up. Then you more likely will break through that level. I hope that's overall helpful. It's a little bit of a wonky one, to be honest. Would it go past 160 if it broke down? Most likely not. Most likely it would not break down way down to here, okay? So for the time being, you would more so for that kind of move be looking at a 2 hour. So the only way that this is going to hit like a 160 is if this 2 hour is able to curl over. And that just doesn't seem to be happening just yet. You've kind of tried to base out here. So you're kind of saying 2 hour curls down. Yeah, there's potential. I wouldn't guarantee anything like that, right? But as you are kind of reaching down towards that gap support, you want to see, are you crossing above this level? I would say 2 hour going positive crossing that level, 2 hour going positive crossing that level, then you could feel pretty comfortable that you're going to go make another high here. Kind of betting this whole thing is a fake out. That's why, and using Elliott Wave. Okay, so Elliott Wave, something a little different. I'm not the most probably person you should ask about Elliott Wave theory, but for the most part, if you know what you're doing, keep good track of it. Something we always like to say on this channel, trade like water. Make sure you're managing the trade. If you are using MACDs and stuff still to manage your risk, well, then that would be pretty simple in this case. 15-minute curls down, bad things can happen. 15-minute then curls back up. It's still going to be positive. But if that 15-minute curls down enough, that 30-minute curls down, then that 2 hour curls down, yeah, you have a shot to go to like a I would say more like, let's look at it. Let's just zoom out and look at it. I would say more, where's this high? Yeah, 158, that would make sense. I'd more create a box with this and say that little area right there is important, anywhere in that area. So from about 163 down to 157.50 is a good area for you to drop to. Also, you can measure maybe the ABC if that does happen, right? After the consolidation, let's say we topped out right here. Let's just use this point. Okay, we could head down towards 157.50. So I think this little area in here is good. Kind of lines up with the previous high as well towards that 158 level. That's what I'd be looking at overall. You're holding the short on that. I woke up and everything's high. Is it too late to get into the market, everything trending high? You can wait till things confirm by the end of the day. I don't know. Everyone has different strategies, so I can't tell you whether to get in, get out. I don't know your strategy. And two, I shouldn't even be doing that. We're just talking about momentum on this channel, trying to learn But what I would say is this is a very strong move. What I would say is Nvidia is crossing up on a daily chart. There can always be pullback days, but as long as this remains crossed up, we should expect positivity over time. So if this confirms up like this, and maybe the PCC by the end of the day is higher, and the Qs actually close above their daily expected move, we should expect weekly expected moves to get tagged. Where is Nvidia's weekly expected move? Well, it's somewhere up in this area, right? So we can see a pretty solid move from this area. Actually, it's right above you. So actually, once you get, sorry, I misspoke. The weekly expected move, you're actually pretty much testing that right now. Let me go double check that because I'm pretty sure you're at it. Yeah, you're above the weekly expected move for Nvidia right now. Maybe we should look at the max pain for Nvidia. So that would tell you by the end of the week, it would make more sense, 68% chance to drop, but I'm just notifying you that short squeezes do happen, and short squeezes are a big part of that 32% chance to see something crazy. That's why you want to pay attention to the PCC still remaining a little bit elevated, not really, kind of right in the middle now, but has been elevated before, and the dollar dropping off tells you this more likely would be maybe a short squeeze. If we keep seeing upward price action, people will close out of those puts. A lot of people betting that the highest point for all of the options data for Friday close on Friday's expiration for Nvidia is 174,000 contracts for Nvidia to go to $100. So you're already above that. If those people start to close those positions, which they might with all this upside that it's seen, we can potentially see more of a squeeze going forward. Let's look at the next week as well. More calls start to come in next week. So next week would more so be the pullback territory most likely. No rigged behavior really happening here. So even if it does turn down, it wasn't obvious if it's going to turn down. SPY's about to cross up. So someone asking, am I late to it? Well, it depends. Do you know how to swing trade? Right, because if you know how to swing trade, this is telling you all those signals right now. If you know how to swing trade, the Qs are telling you all those signals right now. The RSI and MACD maybe going to cross that center line at the same time. You're starting to get above this area. So it just depends. And then from there, you always see pullback. So the one thing I would really expect actually, unless we get extremely squeezing, well, then you'd expect, hey, maybe a reaction to here, pullback, then we curl back up, left head, right shoulder. So is the opportunity still there? Yes, it's just a different style of trading, right? We like the style of trading that gets you in a little earlier. You can learn that in the course down in the description. These get you into these moves earlier. 2-hour divergence. Learn how to play these. Learn how to read into these weekly ranges and all these things, because this really helped me, right? I take this trade setup right in this area. Boom, heads to the upside. I take some profit. Now I'm just playing with house money. Any upside I see here is good. And I might even take some profit off the table again, just to make sure to make money and only hold one. I think I only have like 3 to 4 contracts. I think I have 4 contracts still. So I've sold a lot of my contracts now. Now I'm playing with house money. And now I can say, okay, if this does make the move up to here, I'm probably going to sell at least 2 more of those contracts. But as we are outside of that weekly expected move, I might sell 1 right now to make sure, like, hey, I just made profit in this trade and I can still be a part of the squeeze. I think that's awesome. Everything does look strong. Sometimes it's hard to really see it. Zoom out, though. Zoom out, though. Daily, does this look strong? It looks like the first beginnings of strength on the daily side. A lot of the time when I swing trade, I am doing just buying the shares. A lot of the time when I am swing trading on a daily chart, I'm just buying the shares because I don't want time to eat away at me. Who's to say that Nvidia can maybe see a strong move to here and then it just consolidates for days and goes sideways and then sees a pop with earnings, right? So therefore, usually I am buying with just the shares if I'm just taking the swing trade. But this was not technically a swing trade. It is a position play that I'm taking. It is a weakness in momentum that I'm looking to reverse the trend. That has happened. I'm in the play earlier because of that with an option. And then now, since I know I'm in option, I know time will eat away at me. So I want to make sure to take profit throughout this, but still leave those runners in case we see some kind of squeeze, right? That's more so how I'm looking into it. But yeah, if I'm just looking at this and going, okay, swing trading, okay, then I'm probably doing dinner going to be fire. Why is that? Oh, damn. My buddy just got a new grill. That thing is a flat top Blackstone grill. That is sick. Wow. PCC remained high for a lot of the day. As we go into maybe just shrink this down. It originally came down, then it went right back up and remained there for a bit. Now it's back down in that area. So we'll see how people react throughout the day. Those shares are really expensive. Yeah, but you can see maybe Microsoft or something like that. So if we go look at Microsoft and we see this curling up, we see the daily looks good. It's above the 200. You have one of the signals, not the other two. Maybe you could be a little patient, wait for it. But if you do take the play, you notice that if I took an option here and this hasn't crossed, this hasn't gone above the center line, that would be risky because if this just sees a down day, wow, that time is going to eat at me. A lot of things are going to eat at me if I'm waiting for this to really be able to confirm up. But if I just use shares and this starts to pull down on a 2 hour or something, I can manage that risk and only lose like 2%. But you can see if this gets the swing trade up, and even if we get a higher low or a lower high and we come up to an area, say like 450 or something like that, that will be a 10% move in probably less than a month. Island reversal if it closes down today. Not necessarily, actually. More so island reversals are when you see a gap up, then a gap down the next day. So it's like this. If we gap up, right, we gap up, and then tomorrow we get CPI news and we gap back down, that leaves you behind a little island up here. That's more island reversal. From my understanding. I mean, I don't necessarily play island reversals. I've studied them. I've read about them and everything. That's more how I understand it. It creates the island, right? So this would be more like a gap and trap if it did that. But if it stays up here and then tomorrow gaps down, that's when we would pay attention because that would be more of an island reversal. Yeah, it's not something that I necessarily would take a trade with. You know what I mean? Not necessarily something that convinced me to take a trade, but it's good to be aware of. So like this up here wouldn't necessarily be an island reversal, right? Because we have the price action. An island reversal is actually the opposite. What happened over here? Kind of something like this could be maybe considered an island reversal, right? It tried to reverse back, but it failed. So you created this chunk in here, and then you notice we stayed in that chunk, and then it gapped up. All right, that would be more of an island to me. Actually, you have one on your chart. Holy shit, you have one right here. Okay, this is actually an island reversal, like to a T. Okay, you gap up, you go, you trap a lot of people on the island, and then you gap down. Look at that. That's more what you're looking at, Jeffrey. At least that's how I understand it. Maybe I need to do more research. Maybe someone in the chat will call me out and be like, you're wrong, but that's how I understand it. You gap up, now we've created that island as we gap back down. So, bam. You gotta assume an island has water all around it, no land. So can I draw a circle around this? Yes, I can. There's my island. What time will I end the stream this morning? I don't know. I'm having a little bit of fun. I'm having some fun. But I will say this, the weather outside, even though it's been stormy, it's been cooler, and I've really enjoyed getting out of the house. So really trying to make sure to spend some time with my girls and walk around a bunch, show Ari a bunch of things. So I might close off in about, I wanted to go till 10:30. I really want to see these reactions from this area though, so I might stick around just for a little bit. Well, we are starting to head up pretty quick here. So we'll look in the next, we'll probably give it 15 more minutes. I'll probably give it 15 more minutes and then hop off. And then if things are getting a little crazy, I'll hop back on. I'll just come back. I'll go for a little walk with the girls and then maybe come back on. But today, if we see a crazy move, like let's say something like this happens, I'll most likely get on by the end of the day to see if that's ripped away, see what the PCC, see what the dollar's doing. So I still have it in my mind. Like I want to go live this afternoon, but I want to make sure that we're seeing some stuff. I don't want this to just be like a dud day like this and it just goes like this all day, and then I watch the end of the stream and it's just like, oh, we're just still watching it do this. So I think if the PCC or something like that sticks out to me, if the dollar starts to stick out to me, if volatility sticks out to me, that's when I'll come back on the live stream, whether that's at the end of the day or whether that's in an hour. Yeah, for island reversal can be difficult because what you want to pay attention to is the most likely thing to happen next, by the way. So Jeffrey, the only time that island reversal I think I've ever used it is sometimes in a swing trade. Okay, so the swing trade is more when I've used it on like a 2-hour time frame, but since we're on a 30-minute, I'll just show you. So you crossed up, right? We went positive, but we confirmed down. This is the management of the trade in case something bad happens, right? If we manage the trade, if I say, hey, this crossed up, it's going to the upside, there is divergence here, all of that is correct. But you notice we gap up, we go, and then we cross down within range of going negative, still within range. Over here, a little less likely, but you see the downward price action. This is why managing the trade is so important every time, because sometimes you will see something awful, right? A gap down is not what you want to see. Now this, you could have been convinced maybe on multiple time frames, but we gap up, and then what happens? Well, we cross back down right here. And then you go, okay, well, if that continues, that'd be bad, and it was. So that's where management of the trade comes in. Any open positions? I still have Nvidia, I still have Tesla. Now I do still have my hedge in case something wonky happens. I still have a hedge, but it is a light hedge. It is just one to say, most of my trades are in profit to the upside right now. I have profit there to be taken. So just in case there is some kind of random downside or something like that, I can mitigate that risk just a little bit. The Dow still pretty strong here, curling up on the 30 minutes, so nothing to worry about there. IWM, a little bit struggling there. GME and AMC, little struggle going on there as well. See if GME can curl back down. Yeah, what rule are you talking about, David? I'd love to know. Which state? I live in Kansas. Right in the middle. I like my state like I like my women. Flat. Kansas is a very nice place, though. If you guys have never been, it's very chill. Very chill. The people are very, very nice. There's not a bunch of craziness happening all the time. I actually really like being here because a lot of families here have, you know, children, like babies. A lot more babies are happening here in Kansas, which I think it's fun to go out and we get to see like Ari interact with some babies. I think it's a lot of fun. So it's more so a place where if you're young, you might think it's boring, but as you get a little bit more towards like starting a family and stuff, it gives you a little bit of ease, you know. You have enough drama going on with a baby that it's very nice to have something chill, like a chill place where we can just go walk around. We can go to the farmer's market. We can do little things like that. PPI came out today. Not vice versa. Yeah, they kind of switched it, which is very weird. It's kind of weird, isn't it, Jonathan, sorry. Which, oh no, Marsh, okay. I thought your last name was Marshall. I was about to be like, do you have family here? Because we have a lot of Marshalls here. Alrighty, let's go look at some things here. Let's see if volatility is showing us that signal. If the 30-minute crosses up here, it will go positive. When you drove from Colorado to Ohio a couple times? Sometimes it's cool though, when you go on drives, you get to see a bunch of horses or cows or stuff like that. I don't know why, I really like to see cows. I think they're fun. They smell, but it doesn't smell like that in the city. Like a lot of people think like, oh, there's a farm next to us. Like I remember when my wife first moved here, when I was a big, you know, social media guy, and she moved here and stuff. She came by and she was not expecting there to even be buildings. And I was like, yeah, we have a downtown, like we have big buildings. We just
There's not like a huge city. There's not all the craziness, but it's not just she was expecting like corn to be in the middle of the city. It says that normally after the gap, it reverses the trend, delaying the gap fill for a while. Basically, we shouldn't go higher than about 540. Okay, 540. Interesting. We'll see. Q is breaking above the daily expected move. You are in an area where people get, this is where we want to pay attention to the PCC for the SPY and the Qs, right? Because it measures the indices. So what we want to see with the PCC is, are people getting overzealous to the upside? Are people taking way too many calls? Are we seeing like a 0.75 or something like that? And then are we seeing the dollar reverse back up quickly? That would tell us maybe some insiders selling that hasn't hit the tape yet. We're not seeing that just yet. Oh yeah, Kansas weather's nuts. So to put it in perspective, you guys want to hear about the weather the last, say, 4 days. All right, 4 days ago, it was 100 degrees. 3 days ago, it was 64 degrees. 2 days ago, it was 80 degrees and very humid. Yesterday, it was 85 degrees and humid. Today, it's 70 degrees and humid. So it just bounces around a lot with the weather. We can see rain out of nowhere. We can see storms out of nowhere. It's pretty fun. Yeah, tornadoes. Everyone's scared of tornadoes. I've never experienced a tornado. I've experienced one time, I think 2 times in my, I think I've lived here, let me think the total. I'm about to be 32, but I did live away for a little while. So probably like 29 years. I've experienced 2 times where I had to go in the basement. Yeah, in the spring you can literally experience rain, snow, extreme heat. You can go from like 90 degrees to storming to hail to back to 90 degrees to a little bit of snow. And then it mellows out. But that's like early spring. Nvidia looks strong as hell. Nvidia looks strong, man. So someone tell me another, actually let's just do this. SMH. Let's go look at semiconductors across and really look at that from a daily perspective. Look at that thing. That's crossing up, giving you some swing trade signals. You have 2 of them. So what happened the last time that we saw those signals? Well, actually, weirdly enough, you failed on the signal the last time. You're not, if you fail on the signal, we'll see, right? You see this can still happen. It looks very similar, doesn't it? Leak up, cross back down, make some kind of higher low, and then go to the upside. All right. But when that did confirm back up, it just went. So if we do get the pullback here, we're still aware of that. But for the most part, we would say, hey, this looks pretty bullish. You got in the AMD swing yesterday, then you're probably liking it today. Look at that swing up. You do have the crossing of the price action above the 9. That's fine. Now you have to note for AMD, Kia, you have to note for AMD, you are below the 200, so you got to manage it a little bit closer. But everything else looks fine in the other semiconductors, I would say, at least in SMH and things like that, above the 200 and like Nvidia and things like that. So you're now getting more confirmation of that move today. You're just hoping this continues. You see more confirmation of that move. And then I would really look at your 30-minute, your 2-hour signals if you start to get up towards this level of about 154, 153. Hey, that's all right, Mojoma, as long as you're making money in the move. I assume you made money in the move overall because yesterday was still a decent day. So that's reasonable. That's why I just took some off the table and then letting the rest ride. So now if we squeeze for the next, like say we get 5 days of upside, just like this. Okay, awesome. I just made a great amount of money off that and I have almost no risk here. Pretty much it's all opportunity cost, so love it. I've never been to Ohio. I might have driven through it. I don't remember. I used to live in Pennsylvania. That's where I played soccer. That's where I got scouted by the New York Red Bulls, and that's where I broke my shoulder. But so I've played in New York, Pennsylvania. That's where I lived for a little chunk of time. Hard time not chasing what I could have made. End up losing childless. One thing you can always do is say, hey, I made money in the move. I want to make safe but good money, and maybe there's potential for a squeeze. What if just buying shares, right? Shares are not a bad thing. And if Nvidia is going to see a move like this, you can still take the swing trade and be like, okay, awesome. That might be 20% over the next month or so. That's still a great trade too. You know, and then you're not as risky. You don't have a chance to like really beat up that good trade you just had. I like that. Qs are just, if they can break above this 20 and close there, man. Weekly numbers, I think you're breaking above that. You're breaking above it, so you're above it now. So this would tell you this, guys. We are at Tuesday. We are on Tuesday right now. And you do have a 68% chance for this to drop, right? But a short squeeze a lot of the time will cause you to go through those ranges. So we have to see if people are still shorting this at the highs. You keep shorting at the highs, right? So we'll have to see. What you kind of want to see if you're going to see a drop is see people go to the call side. Right now, we want to see, do people continue to go to the put side like they did this morning, right? They went to the call side for a split sec, not anything dramatic though, and then it goes right back to the put side. And volatility might give us a hint if that starts to turn up. SPY going up towards that daily expected move. Finally, it is really testing this area now, guys. This is where we want to see what happens. This is the important point to watch. But if we're going to see selling in the move, you probably don't see this, right? If you wanted to see if there's going to be a rip away at the end of the day or a rip away in the middle of the day or after the first hour, the dollar most likely needed to do that while the market was going up, right? Right now you have the dollar down, market up. That makes total sense. So unless we see that flip back around, that's more what we're paying attention to today. If it flips back around, we got to start to pay attention. But for now, just seems it's going up and up. And it looks like as you break through here, maybe the target for the Qs is going to be that 466, which happens to be where you could create some structure. Now, if we get to this level quickly, I might take some off the table of a lot of my plays, see that curl back down, and then apply it back in. But we can just start to gap up. Remember, a lot of the short squeezes we've seen have had multiple gap ups. Ooh. There you go. Oh, I've got Market Maker's YouTube up now. I'm ready to learn a little bit more about Elliott Wave. I'm always scared to learn something new because my strategies have worked well for a long time that I'm like, I don't want to add something that makes me more confused or something. I didn't, and one thing you can do is check if it's still there. I still don't see it in this. A lot of people saying it was on different charts, just not on TradingView. So this dip down right here was not on TradingView at the time, right? Actually, wasn't it this bar? Yeah, it was yesterday, right? Yeah, it was yesterday. So that never, it actually got wiped out there. So it's not even on TradingView. It was originally. It's not there anymore. Yeah, it's not there on the 5-minute either. So just some weird price action. Probably them shooting the price lower so, you know, their buddies can buy it at a cheaper price before it runs. Just being genuine. But no, not really. Oh, yeah. Power's off, thank goodness for hotspot phone. Also slow. Keep it simple is the best rule. That's what I like, you know, keeping it very, very simple. Now, and now just keep it in mind, we are overbought. You can remain overbought on a 30-minute for a while, especially in a short squeeze, but this is the area where we could carve out that right shoulder. So I wouldn't be surprised for us to end in that 68% zone and then start to curl up over time. We'll pay attention. I'm not seeing too much that says we need to head down here, besides the fact that we're oversold and we're outside of a range for Nvidia. So I sold one more contract just to make sure to make money in the move. Tesla kind of rejecting from that area as of right now. We'll see. Just note that, just because we're out of that zone, one thing to keep in mind here, is just because we're out of that zone, 68% chance to head down. Note this, we have a rock in our stream. If CPI is seen as good from the market, that is where something crazy can happen. So if we remain outside of this zone throughout the entire day and consolidate, and then we get good news, say perceived good news from the CPI in the morning, we actually can see some kind of gap up and just see some craziness. So I'm just going to be thankful that I have a good trade. I've made money in the trade, and we'll see what happens if I don't see reversal signals, if I don't see the PCC going dramatically down or something like that. If anything, people might say, oh, it went up and up and up and up, so CPI might be bad. So looking at the PCC at the end of the day might be important. We'll mention it in the YouTube video tonight, if it's important. Alrighty, so that's some stuff to pay attention to today. Looks like the Q is heading outside that move. Now we can try to use it as support. It'll form soon. GME and AMC. GME still crossed up on this 30-minute. Great look. AMC is the one. You need that one to cross up as well if you want AMC to see that positivity. GME crossing up 1%. Okay, so looking at the daily chart, you just want to see if this crosses up. Now this could throw things for a loop too. We'll find out, but this also could be some kind of squeeze where it squeezes together with the market. So this will be an interesting day, that's for sure. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. Actually, tomorrow will be a very interesting day in my opinion. Alrighty. All right, guys, so I'm going to call it there for the morning. I'm going to hop back on the live stream later today if we see some craziness. If I see anything that looks like rigged behavior, I will be hopping on at the end of the day, so make sure you're subscribed with those notifications on. If I see something throughout the middle of the day, I might even hop on there as well. So really make sure those notifications are on, because here, if something crazy happens in the next hour and a half, I might hop on a little earlier. For now, we just need to note that we're not necessarily seeing the rigged behavior. We're more so seeing things curl up on daily charts, and we can see some overall positivity from those curl ups. And we might see a 32% time where we see something crazy outside of the moves. Now, to keep it in perspective though, 68% chance to just do that, right, by the end of the week. So we'll pay attention to the signals. We still get more data. But overall, I just want to say thank you guys for being here. It really has been a lot of fun today. We're seeing some gap ups. Okay, that's awesome. Let's still trade like water, and note that we have a rock in our stream tomorrow. Okay, we have another one. We don't get a break, it seems. So tomorrow we will see some more data, and we'll find out what exactly is going to happen with the overall market at this point. Right now, we'll just pay attention to that PCC, pay attention to the dollar, see what's happening with Nvidia, see what's happening with the SPY and the Qs, and figure out what's going on here, as the Qs are seeing some pretty good upside, and this looks almost like squeezing, right? Just no selling really hitting. So we'll pay attention, because I wonder if this volume doesn't look very well either. We actually will see that volume kick in one direction. So hopefully you guys have a great day. I really hope that all the trades go well for you today. I really do. I hope that you guys have some great trade setups and things like that going on for you. It looks like there's still a few for the swing trade happening out there. We just have to make sure to manage our risk, trade like water, and do all those good things. Make sure to, treat yourself just a little bit today. Make sure to take at least a 20-minute break. Go watch a fun YouTube video. Go outside. Go to the gym. Do something interesting while keeping an eye on stocks. I think it's still very good to pay attention to what is going on, but also pay attention to yourself, right? Make sure you're in a good mindset this entire week, all right? Thank you guys for joining today. I'll probably see you later. If not, we'll have a YouTube video for you later tonight with those daily expected moves and a little bit of my take of what could happen next based on these signals. So thank you guys for joining. Keep those notifications on in case I get back on in a little bit, but I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.